Today, one of the tense moments from the Ukrainian frontline, operators of the 8th Separate Regiment of the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine have destroyed Russian military equipment and killed a number of troops on the Donetsk front using FPV drones. Operators of the 8th Separate Regiment of the Special Operations Forces continue to inflict losses on the enemy on the Donetsk front during one combat mission using FPV drones. They eliminated an armored combat vehicle, 2 infantry fighting vehicles, 9 Russian soldiers, and 3 more Russian soldiers were wounded. Currently, Russia continues to suffer large losses of troops and equipment, including artillery systems and armored personnel vehicles, APVs, according to Kyiv's latest figures. Ukraine's General Staff said on Saturday that over the previous 24 hours, Russian casualties totaled 1,124, the highest figure for 6 weeks. The last time it was higher was on March 16, when the figure was 1,160. Russian forces also lost 38 artillery systems, the second highest figure for a week, taking the total losses of this equipment type to 11,905 since the start of the war. Kyiv's latest figures also showed that Russia had lost 14 APVs the previous day, taking the total for the full-scale invasion to 13,971. Ukraine has estimated that Russia has lost 465,054 troops during the war, with this figure including both dead and wounded. An accurate number of casualties is difficult to ascertain, with Ukraine's estimate higher than figures given by Western countries. Among the losses were 3,300 Army and other security forces officers, 390 who had the rank of lieutenant colonel and above. It comes as Ukraine awaits the delivery of weapons and ammunition following the passage by Congress of a $61 billion assistance package in the hope of stemming Russian advances in the Donetsk region, particularly north of Avdiivka. Kyiv has warned that Vladimir Putin hopes to capture the nearby town of Chasiv Yar in time for Victory Day on May 9th, when Russia marks the role Moscow played in defeating Nazi Germany in World War II. Amid concerns that the aid package may not be enough for Kyiv to achieve all its war aims and regain all its territory, U.S. officials have reportedly resumed discussing freezing the lines in the war, according to the Institute for the Study of War, ISW. The think tank said Friday that Ukrainian forces will first have to leverage Washington's aid to stabilize the front lines and stop ongoing Russian advances, particularly in the Avdiivka and Chasiv Yar directions. On the same day, Ukraine for the first time has begun using long-range ballistic missiles provided secretly by the United States, bombing a Russian military airfield in Crimea last week and Russian forces in another occupied area overnight, American officials said Wednesday. Long sought by Ukrainian leaders, the new missiles give Ukraine nearly double the striking distance, up to 300 kilometers, 190 miles, that it had with the mid-range version of the weapon that it received from the US last October. "We've already sent some. We will send more now that we have additional authority and money," White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said. The additional ATACMS were included in a new military aid package signed by President Joe Biden on Wednesday. Biden approved delivery of the Long-Range Army Tactical Missile System, known as ATACMS, in February, and then in March the U.S. included a significant number of them in a $300 million aid package announced, officials said. U.S. officials would not provide the exact number of missiles given last month or in the latest aid package, which totals about $1 billion. Ukraine has been forced to ration its weapons and is facing increasing Russian attacks. Ukraine had been begging for the long-range system because the missiles provide a critical ability to strike Russian targets that are farther away, allowing Ukrainian forces to stay safely out of range. Information about the delivery was kept so quiet that lawmakers and others in recent days have been demanding that the US send the weapons, not knowing they were already in Ukraine. For months, the US resisted sending Ukraine the long-range missiles out of concern that Kyiv could use them to hit deep into Russian territory, enraging Moscow and escalating the conflict. That was a key reason the administration sent the mid-range version, with a range of about 160 kilometers, roughly 100 miles, in October instead. Admiral Christopher Grady, vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said Wednesday that the White House and military planners looked carefully at the risks of providing long-range fires to Ukraine and determined that the time was right to provide them now. He told the Associated Press in an interview that long-range weapons will help Ukraine take out Russian logistics nodes and troop concentrations that are not on the front lines. Grady declined to identify what specific weapons were being provided but said they will be very disruptive if used properly, and I'm confident they will be. Like many of the other sophisticated weapons systems provided to Ukraine, the administration weighed whether their use would risk further escalating the conflict. The administration is continuing to make clear that the weapons cannot be used to hit targets inside Russia. At the State Department, spokesman Vedant Patel said Wednesday that Biden directed his national security team to send the ATACMS, specifying that they be used inside Ukrainian sovereign territory. "I think the time is right, and the boss, Biden, made the decision the time is right to provide these based on where the fight is right now," Grady said Wednesday. "I think it was a very well-considered decision, and we really wrung it out, but again, anytime you introduce a new system, any change into a battlefield, you have to think through the escalatory nature of it." Ukrainian officials haven't publicly acknowledged the receipt or use of long-range ATACMS. But in thanking Congress for passing the new aid bill Tuesday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky noted on the social platform X that Ukraine's long-range capabilities, artillery and air defense are extremely important tools for the quick restoration of a just peace.